Portugal. There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Monton here with the Good Morning Portugal show, the live stream, the podcast, the Portugal Club, where we are loving 50 plus life here in Portugal. And a very happy birthday, parabéns, to little Minnie, who is 10 today. Happy birthday to you, Minnie. And good morning to you, Gumpers. It feels like a Monday morning for some reason. It's still December the 42nd, I think. Oh, no, it is January the 2nd of 2026. It does feel like at the start of a week, strangely enough, to me anyway. Maybe that's because we had a public holiday yesterday. But no, just in case you are wondering, if you're completely lost in the IKEA of the calendar at this time of the year, it is Friday today, therefore Saturday and Sunday following. And it will be Monday the 5th when we probably just about return to any kind of barely understandable normal. Okay, so Monday the 5th, and we'll have what we'll do is we'll have a Good Morning Portugal wine club on Monday the 5th in the evening, and we'll get together, we'll review a particular wine based on a theme that the wine ninjas will choose and gather around. We'll have a little drink and a chat. If you'd like to join us, you'd be very welcome to do so. And we have a little bit of a lock-in after, where we put the world to rights from about 8:30. Actually, sometime between 8:30 and 9, often more recently around 9 o'clock, where we shut down the live transmission and get together and have a bit of a chat, because we talk so much about the wines in question from 8 o'clock. So do join us on Monday for that. And then Mondays thereafter, we'll be back with Find Your Home in Portugal with Ben Austin, the show I do on a Monday evening with Ben in the 8 o'clock slot. And if you are moving to Portugal, if you're looking for somewhere to live, you'll need to stick around and chat with Savika Anna in about half an hour from now as well. So Savika Anna will be with us at around 8:30. And she'll help you make your home in Portugal in 2026, as ever. She'll be telling us, of course, what sort of Christmas she had. It's always nice to talk to a proper Portuguese person and find out how they celebrated their Christmas. And we'll see what she's thinking about moving to Portugal in this coming year. Talking about Portugal and moving here, expats, foreigners, and so on. Thank you, Doug. I appear to be the star of Doug's column this morning, or I will be tomorrow. I think it's published tomorrow. Doug, he is writing on some of Portugal's pros and cons to be published tomorrow. I believe that's his column for tomorrow. And I'm on the same page, as it turns out, as the great Nuno Alvares Pereira. If you've ever been to Batalha, you'll see this great military leader. What an honor to be on the same page as military leader Nuno Alvares Pereira as a sidebar. And the column to be published tomorrow, some of Portugal's pros and cons. Some expats rightly get tremendously enamored by life in Portugal. And he begins. Let me just give away the first paragraph here. Thank you very much, Doug, for featuring me and us here. My fellow columnist, Portugal resident, I'll mention, I don't know if they'll include that when they publish tomorrow, we'll see. And podcaster Carl Munson often referred to himself as one of the expat community's great Pollyannas, living as he does on Portugal's glorious Silver Coast. It's easy to see why. It's fair to say that Carl now admits having experienced some of the nuances of Portuguese living firsthand. It's as if Doug's been waiting for this moment, right? That a little of that initial rosy sheen has perhaps mellowed after a very long honeymoon period, it has to be said. But at the same time, his appreciation of life in Portugal remains undimmed. It's true. And how I see that now, it was difficult for me to say anything negative in my gratitude about Portugal. And I think the great distinction for me is that I love and my appreciation of Portuguese culture. The C word has grown, and maybe not so much a Pollyanna, but just a great admirer and lover, passionate about Portuguese culture. Now, the bureaucracy, the administration, the other stuff, the worldly machinations, no, not so much, of course. Although we will talk about IMA in just a moment. There is a column, or not a column, a news piece in the Portugal News talking about how great IMA are. We must take a look at that this morning. here on the Good Morning Portugal show. But yeah, the all that worldly stuff that's a pain in the pain in the butt, and the bot increasingly with AI. Pain in the bot. Has anyone used that as a title for an AI article yet? No, not of course. The admin, all of the problems of of the countries of the Western world suck in so many ways. But the culture here in Portugal, I think, is a beautiful thing, worthy of enjoyment and preservation, as particularly at this time, actually, with intense immigration. It's a jewel that we should honor, preserve, and allow to continue to shine and enjoy it, and be grateful that we are able to. So that's how I would reframe that. But well spotted, well observed, Doug, who goes on to say, unlike Carl, I've not made a permanent move. Instead, I'm one of those annoying ones who flits back and forth, having not nailed my colours to any particular mast. I thought you nailed your colours to the good ship Curmudgeon. Frankly, perhaps selfishly, I think this brings me the best of both worlds, all worlds, you might say, apart from a certain place in Africa, which you weren't very impressed by, but your wife seems to love, Doug. I was never one for commitment. Perhaps this attitude allows me the benefit of perspective and lets me take a step back to see what the country currently seems to excel at, and like all other countries where it faces challenges. And those headings, and you can read this for yourself tomorrow, come under the headings strengths, quirks, and world records, sustainability and clean energy, innovation and education, weaknesses and structural challenges, he talks about as well, trust and rule of law. It's a whole page in the Portugal News tomorrow. Development, or is it today it got published? Anyway, around about now. Development, gaps, and structural limitations. A country in transition, he says as well, and what to watch for 2026 as well. A few more paragraphs on what to watch in the year ahead. Great work. Thank you for the name check over there in the Portugal News, Doug. Where we will return in just a moment after we've said hello. Bon dia alegria to you all in the chat. Let's have a look what's going on here. Jackie was in early. Morning to you, T-Duck as well. Bon dia from Mel. Good morning, Mel. How you doing? Bon dia, Colin Gumpers this morning from Jackie. Gemini's here. Gina's back again this morning. Good to see you. And the great Garvo. What are we doing, Gary? Can you let me know? And I'll make a slide for it. I'm going to pop down to see Sergio at Red Notes here in San Martino de Porto to get my wine of the week. What beautiful timing. We'll have a new wine of the week for the week beginning 5th of January. I'll get that from Red Notes here in San Martino de Porto. This, of course, is the current wine of the week, the Altano Duro. I know you're a fan of that, Gary. What are you going for here? I have just selected my wine for the next program. It's on the Wine Ninja WhatsApp group. It would be nice to share the same wine this time for the new year. Okay, well, I'll see if Sergio has that. And Gary is urging us to find the wine called Sexy. And we can find out for ourselves if we agree on that. So who makes this then, Gary? It is actually, I think in many ways, the Portuguese wine manufacturers occasionally create a wine with an English name, English language name, to perhaps do a little bit of missionary work and attract the attention of wine buyers who are buying in English. They're buying Portuguese wine, but they are buying from their English point of view, of course. Here it is. I'll bring it onto the screen for you now so you can see for yourself. There it is, the Sexy wine. Gary says of it, this month's wine selection, an interesting question, is it? So we'll find out if that wine is sexy or not. Try and find one and let's have a wine orgy, is Gary's... all I say is Gary's suggestion for us. Okay, so thanks for that, Garvo. Very interesting. The wine called Sexy. If we can't, that looks like a red to me. I guess it would be. You would associate a wine called Sexy with a full-bodied red, presumably. Probably a Setúbal, right? They are the most siren-esque of red wines, I would say, here in Portugal. So there you go. Sexy for Monday evening at the Good Morning Portugal Wine Club. Well, I hope we'll have, look, the cheeky chappy featured bottom right-hand side of your corner. Bottom right-hand corner of your screen. He'll be there, I hope. He's sexy, isn't he? Just look at him. Of course, did you catch the president's? He's also now in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Hold on a minute. Oh my goodness! Did I cough on you then? I thought I'd press the mute button. President Marcelo gave his final address to the nation before he gives way to Vieira. Some of us are hoping it's a bit unlikely, but who knows? In these crazy times, who will become the president of Portugal? In about 2 weeks' time, actually, the presidential election will happen in a couple of weeks' time here in Portugal. Will this chap get the vote?
Querem vinho na torneira? Votem no Vieira.
Wouldn't it be awesome to have him on the Good Morning Portugal Wine Club? The man who wants to pipe red wine. Actually, I think maybe 2 taps, 2 colours, right? I think maybe white on one and red on the other. Vieira is one of the candidates. He always is, apparently. But we shall see. I think the front runners are probably Ventura and Guglielmo and is his name Marques? Forgive me, the third candidate. There seem to be 3 in the race. Things are thinning out now, like an expat's head. The presidential race favourites are thinning out. Have you got a view on that? And did you hear the president's final address last night, which he promised would be neutral, 2 weeks away from when he steps down? He's done 2 terms. He can't do a third, and he'll give way to somebody new. And will it be Andre Ventura in what would be an explosive presidential move or development? We shall see in a couple of weeks' time. Or will it go to Guglielmo? Or, forgive me, I think it is Senor Marques, who is the other prominent candidate. Or will there be a surprise? Will there be an upset? Morning to you as well. Anna, good to see you. Swedish Anna. Bon dia from Anna is your YouTube handle. Bon dia alegria a todos from Stockholm. Snow arrived on New Year's Day. Can we have a picture? Please, Anna. Great to see you. Happy New Year to you. Not seen you yet this year here. It's an Alentejo. It's a sexy Alentejo. Garvo's selection there. Where did you find it, Garvo? Which shop is that in? I imagine with a bit of branding like that, they wanting to get it in front of everybody. So I imagine it's in most supermarkets. I don't think I've seen it in my local Intermarché, and I wonder if Sergio can get that for me. My own wine merchant. I never had a wine merchant in the UK. I do now though, living here in Portugal. I wonder if children get assigned their own wine merchant as soon as they're born. Probably. How old were you when you had your first taste of wine? I think in the UK we probably get beer first, don't we, from a bad uncle or somebody else in the family, or one of those naughty dads who gives you a sip of his beer, perhaps hoping to put you off for a few years. And back in the day, of course, a little, a toke on a cigarette as well. I remember having my first puff on a cigarette. I think I was 5 from my dad. Funny enough, I think it was when he must have had a few pints himself. And I think he was settling down to watch the 1970 World Cup. And I think we might have been on holiday somewhere. And he said, "Here, son, this will put you off." And it put me off, I think, for another at least 10 years or so. A quick smoke on a cigarette. When did you have your first wine? As British children, we're not given the watered down wine that French and European children are given. I think we start off on beer and shandy, of course, the panache wine. I miss the ports and sardines sitting in Porto by the river under an umbrella. There you go, a nice Portuguese moment there for Gina and Coach Turner. Bora Pob. Bon dia todos. Glad to see all here is this morning after a confusing day yesterday. Yeah, kept you on your toes yesterday. A dusting of snow outside. Yeah, I think, maybe that was a little metaphor, a little mirror of the year to come. Not quite knowing when things are going to happen or what is happening. Nearly started at 8, but I was still in bed by 9:20 because after the revised showtime of 9 o'clock. Then I said midday. No, that wasn't going to happen the way things turned out yesterday. And then eventually 7 o'clock for an evening show last night, which was great fun. So thanks to everybody who joined me there, and some fireworks. In case you're wondering what's tickling my ear on the right of your screen, that is a peace lily from my own back garden here. It is cold. It is January. It's Portugal, so you have beautiful blooms possible of this kind. That's one of the pros. There you go. I'm showing you the whole picture now of the peace lily from my garden. And isn't it lovely how you get a couple of drops of rain or condensation or dew first thing in the morning on a peace lily? Isn't that beautiful there? There you go. A flower for you this morning. Right, back to your comments then. Let me just whip that off the screen. and come back. Should we have Bob Ross for a little while? Yeah. I wonder who else we can have featured on the screen with us here. We had Mick Jagger, of course, didn't we, as well, earlier on a few months ago. I think we'll go with Bob Ross for a moment, and he can be adding the final touches to that beautiful Peace Lily behind me there. I think I cut you off there, Coach Turner, with your comment. Glad to see you all here this morning. Yeah, a dusting of snow outside, so careful, walk ahead. Wow, so it's snowing in the UK. Enjoy your day, says Coach Turner. And if you're thinking of addressing your physical fitness, don't forget the God Squad 50 plus program at the Portugal Club as well, which the coach has very kindly put together for us, and we've been working on for a few years now. Maybe we can create another squad this year of people who give each other support on a daily basis. First taste of beer was a few months when my parents dipped the pacifier in beer, wine maybe 4. That's how they roll in Germany. Beer on the pacifier when you're a few months old, and then maybe you have to wait till you get to the grand old age of 4 before you get treated to some wine. So weird that humans force themselves to ease into cigarettes and alcohol because our body so rejects the things bad for us. Yeah, absolutely. But we do it anyway. Yes. It's quite a struggle, isn't it, to start smoking? I couldn't believe it when I, under the peer group pressure of school friends. What is this evil thing? And this is going to take some work to get used to this, to look cool and kill myself slowly with it. And parents often help as well. They do, don't they? But, it's probably coming from love. They just probably, they're thinking to themselves, it's better that we do it than some nasty stranger, maybe. Right, let's go over to the Portugal Club. Savvy Cat Anna joining us in about 10 or 15 minutes. Oh, on the Peace Lily. Only goes to show in the coldest and darkest of times, beautiful things are possible. Yes, well said, Garvo. We can learn from that this year. Yes, I think you're right. And Ruby calls wine fruit juice that burns. What an excellent description. Fruit juice that burns. It is. That's absolutely right. I wonder, it would sound better in French or Portuguese, I suspect as well. And maybe that's a brand name idea. The Suma. Sumo. I don't know what burns is in Portuguese. Maybe Savika Anna will tell us. Let me just put your comments onto the screen. You'll see those as you type them and commit them to our screen this morning whilst we pop over to the Portugal Club to the citizenship test question. I don't think it could be any easier this morning than any of the questions we've had so far. A very easy one as we head towards Portuguese citizenship test question 87. Oh, there it is. Under the instructions on what to do on your arrival at the Portugal Club. Oh, we've had one vote already. Let's have a look at the results so far. Good morning to you over there, Kate Payson, who's voted already this morning. With Fado as the answer, what is the traditional Portuguese music genre known for its melancholic tone? Come on, that's so easy, isn't it? But if you think you're so clever and knowledgeable on Portuguese culture, what is rancho and what is vira? I've given you a little clue, actually. The 5 most popular Portuguese traditional dances. There's a little link to that, which is a very nice article written by danceask.net, taking a look at Portuguese dancing with a few videos. Why not take that up as a hobby for 2026, this coming year ahead? Great way to make yourself some new friends, get fit, and immerse yourself in Portuguese culture. But the Portuguese citizenship test question 87, for those newbies and new entries who are just getting warmed up, what is the traditional Portuguese music genre known for its melancholic tone? Fado, I think it's fair to say, although it is a music and a music form, it's also a way of being and seeing life, isn't it? It's utterly Portuguese, and it's more than music, I would say. It is a state of mind, as my friend Gastão here in Portugal, in San Martino would say. He calls San Martino to put a state of mind. Our Bygrove bonus this morning, look at all those lovely memes there. And I understand now the comments that were made yesterday. We are talking memery, not mammary. I understand what you're saying. Oh, and she hasn't posted yet, but it's about memes, not mams. Over there. Although I think that Venn diagram does cross over from time to time, and she may prove me right on that a little bit later on with something topical. Criminal facts. I'm noticing Antonio F., as well as posting up marvelous Portuguese sayings of the day, among the latest are in Portuguese. If Muhammad doesn't go to the mountain will go to Muhammad. Maomé is the name for Muhammad, it would appear in Portuguese. I didn't know that. And já aqui nesta, quem falou, The one who spoke is no longer here. That's used when someone is retracting their statement or gives up on their position or opinion. The wrath of brothers. Check this out, you Austins. The wrath of brothers is the wrath of the devil. Ira del irmãos, ira do diablo. How about that? Diablo, I beg your pardon. And one I hadn't seen until this morning when I had a quick look. Losing everything, going down the drain is ir tudo por água abaixo. Everything going down with the water. So yeah, flushing it down the toilet, basically there. That and hundreds more Portuguese sayings over at the Portugal Club, which you're welcome to take a look at. You can join free, of course. And criminal facts. Now, I notice there are some pretty grisly crimes occurring, but I must say as well, I noticed that the GNR are pretty good at cleaning things up as well. So well done to the Portuguese police force. And there are a few crime stories, articles that Antonio reports on a daily basis, it has to be said, that I don't go into too much on the morning breakfast show because this is a place of positivity. But they're there for you to see at the Portugal Club. With great results. Often what he's reporting is how the police have cleared up something which we would rather not see in Portugal, and they're doing a great job, it would appear, the Portuguese police force, PSP, GNR, and the PJ, of course, the Portuguese police system. Infrastructure split into 3 distinct departments there. Matty on stretching, you'll also see there, and I chose after last night's show to do a little bit about the smoked salmon brand that I discovered when I was in the Algarve. This is the most beautiful of films. Gary's here. Gary, of course, Chinese Terry, Terence Austin, both filmmakers.
When the war ended,
I think they would appreciate this, which I'll put the link
to work. So
it's
he started a
absolutely
small business, a local grocery with local produce in the northern part of Germany. And he had built a smoker. At the time, he used to use that smoker to smoke eels. And when he moved to Portugal, he brought along the same smoker.
There you go. I won't give away the story, but Hardy is the name of his Portuguese grandfather or great-grandfather who brought that smoker that you can see on your screen there to Portugal, and that is the basis of the business to this day, the Hardy smoked masterpieces. It is a beautiful film about a beautiful subject, wonderfully captured. The lighting, the whole style of the video is fabulous. And you can see that over at the Portugal Club and find out more about the origin story and what Hardy are up to with their smoked masterpieces. So that link to that particular film and those products, the Hardy products, is in the chat now. What else is being said over here this morning before we have a look at the fact that, or as reported anyway in the Portugal news, IMA's mission structure was an exemplary operation. Would you be inclined to describe IMA as an exemplary operation? And we're looking, I think, still possibly at gusts of around currently of 100 kilometers per hour as the civil protection website remains down. Apparently, it got blown over. Perhaps there. We'll come back to both of those two if we have time, and then we'll have a nice hangout and chat with Savvy Cat Anna this morning as well, who I think is hitting the ground running with some training as well early on in 2026 as well. We'll find out about her resolutions or life choices for the new year as well. Peace lilies, gullet burners. Oh, is that? I don't think that will go down very well as a Portuguese wine name. Gullet burner. That would definitely sound better in French, I suspect. Okay, let's go over to the Portugal resident to find out what's going on with the weather before we find out about IMA's exemplary mission structure. Maybe those words are chosen carefully so as not to describe all of IMA's output currently. They've also made a hell of a lot of money, it has to be said. Let's not forget that. They've made millions for the Portuguese treasury. And let me just take off your gullet burner comment there so as not to confuse things. The weather is called Depression Francis, not the gullet burner. So what's going on? Wind gusts of over 100 kilometers per hour. That was the forecast. It certainly was very blustery here when I took the dogs out late last night. The civil protection website is down. We could perhaps feel justified in feeling unprotected. Depression Francis hovers over Portugal for the next few days. What a wonderful start to the year. A new depression bringing high winds gusting up to 100 kilometers, and rain is back hovering over Portugal. but the NAEPC, the civil protection website, usually relied upon to give updates. I think you can go to IMA. Don't worry too much. You can use IMA as well. Not IMA, IPMA, mixing up my abbreviations there and acronyms. Thank you is the message visitors receive, albeit... Hold on. We apologize. The site is under maintenance right now. Please try later. Thank you. That's the message you'll get if you go to the civil protection site, albeit Lucer explains the situation has been caused by vulnerabilities identified. Now, I think this sort of breakdown of websites, possible hacking, get used to it. We're living in a web-based world. This was inevitable, was it not? Lucer's understanding is that the suspension has been effected for strictly preventative security reasons, but that the site should be back up and running. Can we call that ourselves as well? When, I don't know, the government sends you a letter. Sorry, I've shut myself down strictly for preventative security reasons. Okay, we should be back up soon. Thank you for your understanding on this matter. The site should be back up and running during the second week of January. Wow, the white heat of technology after technical work to reinforce security has been fully completed. That sounds positively, mind the on-air sign there, Carl. That sounds positively archaic, doesn't it? I don't think we need to go too much into it, but suffice to say that if you normally get your weather updates and your sense of safety from the Civil Protection website, aka NAEPC, it won't be around for a few more days yet, perhaps a week or so. They have guaranteed that there is no impact on operational response capacity or civil protection coordination. So it's just their website. It's not how they're operating as an organization. Meanwhile, IPMA Meteorological Institute has been warning of the effects of Depression Francis, which from today, that is, will be bringing a lot more rain to central and southern regions, particularly the Algarve, where it could be accompanied at times by thunder. Francis brings strong winds with gusts of 70 to 80, generally speaking, along the coastal districts, and 100 possibly on high ground, particularly in the centre and southern regions. The wind will feature until Saturday, everybody, until tomorrow, weakening gradually. As for temperatures, these will increase slightly from tomorrow, as in today. This was published yesterday, and then drop again from Sunday. So it's going to feel warmer, if a little blustery and damp, and enjoy a warmer day tomorrow, Saturday as well. That's your weather forecast effectively there. And then quickly before Anna joins us, let's have a look at IMA. Oh, something just touched my thigh. It's okay. It's a cat. Savvy cat, you've attracted the kitten to the screen, or one of them. Look at this little pussy. Are you going to stay with me? Are you going to be naughty? Of course you are. You're a kitten. IMA's mission structure then being no, you mustn't walk on the desk. We know what happens when you do that. Sharing the screen then for IMA's. Look, if I stroke the cat, maybe she'll calm down on my lap here. She is starting to purr. Stay there. That's it. There you go. Good girl. Right. IMA mission structure. Exemplary. What's all this about then? Let's have a look. Let's leave the adverts on the screen because they're hilarious. Will it be thermals? We talked about thermals yesterday, didn't we? Let's see if we can prompt the adverts. Pile cream. Let's see if we can prompt Google Ads to serve us up something of interest. Pile cream. Right, here we go. IMA, and over at the Portugal News, IMA mission structure was an exemplary operation. The Secretary of State, I'll say that again. The Secretary of State for Immigration has stated that the mission structure of the Agency for Integration, Migration and Asylum, IMA, of course, constituted one of the most exemplary operations of the public administration. Maybe they did get the finances people in there to sort it all out and make it run a bit faster. Created in the middle of last year to address the pending requests in public services of approximately 500,000 pending cases. And let us say that is a remarkable workload, is it not? Immigrants seeking regularization, many under residence permits and others based on CPLP visas. The countries, the former Portuguese colonies, of course. The mission structure formally closed its activity on the 31st of December. So this isn't IMA in general. This is the mission structure, the bit that dealt with the big backlog to try and get things back on track. Okay, now I understand a bit better. The mission structure formally closed on the 31st, then a couple of days ago, while still maintaining the Porto office to provide support for unresolved cases. Now, a Canadian friend, went to, I think, one of these missions centers, and it was horrible how she described it. People were freezing in this particular one and were treated very badly, from what I understand. But perhaps that's the cost that was paid on a personal level to get things moving. It sounded horrible, not exemplary, I have to say. In statements to Lusa, Rui Armindo Freitas highlighted that the structure resulted from a very positive relationship between the public administration and civil society institutions, which were fundamental to an absolutely exemplary result of a unique number of services provided to around 500,000 people. And that allowed for a massive verification of criminal records that had never been checked before. That said, I also heard from somebody complaining that they'd been given 20 days to leave the country because they had a criminal record, which they didn't. So some of this might be more speed than haste, as it were, to get through the backlog. Mistakes have been made in this effort to close the gap and deal with these 500,000 cases. Oh, the kitten is now finding a more comfortable position. What are you doing? Okay, you can hear the cat rubbing herself against the microphone now. Okay, just to let you know then, in total, almost 387,000 pending applications were decided, and of these, more than 59,000 were rejected. So things are definitely moving. A laxative has been applied to the backlog, as it were. Pardon my choice of words there. And I'm now going to get laxative adverts whenever I go back to the Portugal News website or any other. Let's give her a nice big round of applause and bring her onto the screen. We'll talk now to Savvy Cat Anna. Hola, bom dia. Oh,
Bom dia, good year. Bom 2026.
2026, absolutely. That's how we need to say. You don't say 2026, do you? You say 2026. And let me remove Bob Ross. He's getting in your way there, Anna. How was it for you? Did you have a nice Christmas? Boas festas to you as well. How was it for
I
you?
spent with my family.
Oh, traditional Portuguese style then.
Yes, traditional
Yeah,
Portuguese style. I went to
right.
the village and I had turkey and bacalhau and lots of cake in the Christmas. And I spent New Year in Porto with a great view of the city. So
how
all
lovely.
good.
Did you go out and about on the bridge? Is that what happens? Do people go down to the river like they do at the
Yeah,
San
most
Pedro?
do, but I spent with my aunts, which one is 84, and
Wow.
so we don't really go out and about in the street. So
No.
we were in a hotel with a nice view to the town, and it was very nice and chill. And I personally prefer it to being in the middle of the crowd.
Yes, that's interesting. Yeah, it would appear, would it not, that as people are aging, and I saw a few memes like this. Me in my teens celebrating New Year, me in my 20s, 30s, and then finally, just people already in bed, asleep by 10 o'clock on the 31st of December. And that's your preference, is it, to have a not 10 o'clock? I'm sure you're.
Yeah, I'm very much a night owl, and curiously,
okay.
my family's too. Even my 84 aunt, like she's fine staying up until 2 a.m., but don't wake her before 10.
That's amazing, though, and that's something we can learn. Is that from lifetime of practice, do you think, that as an 84-year-old she can stay up till 2 in the morning without any trouble?
I guess it's just a personal preference. I think my father's side of the family is very much like that. We are night owls. We will have no problem staying up late, but hate getting up early.
Well, thank you for being here this morning. I do appreciate it. I have heard you say
Yeah, the
before.
earliest I got in this year.
Yes.
Just the
Well,
second
thank
day,
you.
right?
Yeah, right. It's 50-50 so far, isn't it? A lie-in and an early start. Did you mention that you're off to the gym as well this morning? Is that a new habit or a regular one? that you're
Not
trying to
really.
do?
I've been doing consistently personal trainer for like almost 2 years now, but
Cool.
I do my personal trainer online, and it's actually a thing because I travel around a lot, so
Yeah.
it's easier for me that way. But because I've spent a lot of time in Porto is actually the place where it's harder for me to get the gyms,
Right.
because when I am traveling and I just do like the weekly or daily gym thingies, they don't bother me for being with the online personal trainer. But if I try to get like a monthly one here in Porto, They generally hate that they won't let me have the call with a personal trainer. They either say it's because I cannot be filming when I'm not filming, I'm just having a call, or I think it's mostly because they want you to use their personal trainers. So
Oh my goodness. Okay. So did you just hire your own personal professional for that purpose?
yeah, I basically just have my online, and I ended up just buying some equipment here in Porto to train at home because it's a pain to find gyms.
Right. Well done. I mean, and you stuck to it for a couple of years now, and that's the
Mm.
thing, is it? I mean, if anyone else wants to do that, professionals of this kind. In fact, I did meet a great guy who works with a lot of expats in Porto. Actually, he was at the wedding because he was the personal trainer of one of the grooms at the wedding, and he was having a great business working with foreigners. And that presumably that's not a difficult thing to find. Actually, it doesn't matter which city you're in, does it? You could be working with the guy based in Porto,
Yeah.
because wherever you are, you're online. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, if it's online, it can be anywhere, right?
Yeah.
But like I said, if you want to go to a gym, you probably will want to work with a personal trainer in the gym because the gyms don't really like that you're working with someone else in their gym.
Yes, as Mel says here, personal trainers often pay to be in the gyms, and
Yes.
they'll get a commission, probably, won't they, if they
Yeah.
sell the services of the trainer. I know that's how it works with the nutrition. My goodness, they booked me an appointment with the nutritionist, and honestly, I haven't met many kind of sports or training nutritionists who I would think of as the sort of nutrition I'm interested in. And there's a lot of added value in all those products, isn't it? So they're trying to sell you stuff all the time. That's part of the gauntlet that you're running in a gym, I think, is all the added value, as it were. But yeah, Mel, personal trainers often pay to be in the gyms. Part of the condition is that other personal trainers are not allowed in. Yeah, interesting. So you've got to kind of make your own way with that. And you're pleased with progress? Presumably you must be, after sticking to it for a couple of years.
Yes, yes. Like I said, like when I'm traveling, and I can. There's a lot of gyms that allow you to just have like a weekly access or a daily access. When I use those kinds of access, I generally don't have problems. But if I want something longer, like if I'm spending the month in Porto and it's better to pay monthly, most of the gyms don't like you to be there with a personal trainer. So yeah.
Yeah. Who's this? Who's this you've brought in with you? Very good. Very good. Okay. Well. Good luck with that. Have you always been a gym sort of person, or is that a new
Oh
development?
no, I pay personal trainers exactly because otherwise I won't step in gyms.
Is that right? Okay. Very good strategy there. Excellent. So you've brought that discipline to yourself. And are they a kind of proper boot campy type person, or are they quite gentle? What style have you got with your
No,
training?
it's for me. It's very much like I do 1 hour 3 times a week, and it's like a full exercise on that hour, and that works for me. Like my goal is not to get ripped; it's just stay fit.
Yeah, great. Excellent. Well done on that. Right, Anna, how to make Portugal your home in 2026. You've been doing this for a few years for people now, and we're moving into new times, obviously a new year, and people are, well, I want to ask you, where are you getting your calls from at the moment? Presumably the United States remains a rich theme of people considering another place to live. How's it looking?
The first thing I would like to mention is that Portugal pretty much stopped in the past 2 weeks, and most people are still on vacation today.
Yeah.
So, including half of my team. So we
You're
are
leading
just
from the front.
operating like a half capacity today, and only on
Yeah.
Monday we will actually start properly and being full on working. And
Yeah.
that's the case for basically all services in Portugal. Like I had a problem. I deposited the check just before the holiday started and it was rejected. And I will only be able to take care of it on Monday because nothing happened in these 2 weeks.
Wow.
So that's the
Yeah.
general thing.
I
You
mean,
cannot get anything done between Christmas and New Year.
yes.
And so we have not had calls between Christmas and New Year's because we were on holiday like everyone else in Portugal. I think the only thing that works is pretty much commerce and malls and shops and so on. It's
Yeah,
a very good
absolutely.
season for them. But
Yeah.
everyone else is not working.
Well, and the way that things fell with a New Year's Day on a what was it yesterday, a Thursday, and a Christmas on a Thursday,
Yes.
people are taking off the Friday, aren't they? So they can have a
Most
long
of them,
weekend.
yes, because
Yeah,
yesterday was still a holiday and last week on the 24th too because of Christmas. And most people will do the bridge, right? So because it's
yeah.
Friday, they
The
will just
bridge.
take
Yeah.
the Friday off and start on Monday. And that's going to be the case like in a lot of places.
Yeah, yeah, very good, very good. Matty also keeping fit. Look, regarding fitness, since it was not raining yesterday, that's a significant thing at the moment. I
Mm,
walked a 3 kilometer circular route 3 times, so 9K yesterday. Good
mm.
work. And I walked to town twice on New Year's Eve as well, as it turned out, which I could feel my Achilles clicking. I don't know if anyone else gets that, but after a bit of exertion, next morning I'm feeling my Achilles is clicking. Who was walking who, Matty? Yeah, with the dogs taking you out there through. So is it? I guess probably it is easier to take one dog out at a time there, right? So you're anticipating calls come Monday the
Yes,
fifth,
we already
Wednesday.
have about 10 calls booked for the next week. And I would like to also say that we are raising prices in 2026 because, costs have gone up a lot more and there's a lot of reasons to do that. And right now we are keeping the 2025 prices until the 12th. So if you want to still we are raising prices about 20% on the rental packs on the 12th. And then we will raise also on the buying packages until the end of the year. So if you are looking into that, definitely either get the service or schedule a call until the end of the year to get the prices a bit lower. And that's definitely one of the important things.
Right.
Um,
Could you remind everybody what it is you do, and are you adding anything new to the service? Is anything evolving?
we do have a plan for something, but it's not official yet, so I'm not going
Oh, can
to
you not tell us?
go
Can we not
into
find out? Have a little clue?
But we will be creating a new service, but
Ooh.
it's still on the works.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
So,
maybe they
for
can.
those of you who don't know, Savicatch Realty is a relocation and investment agency that helps expats relocate to Portugal from a lifestyle perspective. We are a team of locals, and our goal is to help you find the best location for your own personal lifestyle needs and budget in the whole of continental Portugal. So the goal is you don't have to know the country very well, as most expats don't. You just come to us and we help you figure everything out. We very much have um, a very tailored service approach that starts from helping figure out the best fit in the visa, getting the basic documents here in Portugal, like the NIF number and the bank account, and then helping you get your rental or your purchase property. And when it comes to purchasing, we include a lot of support in our packages, including legal support, technical inspections. Well, like I said, we can work in the whole country, so we don't really limit you to a location. You can go and check out properties in the whole country, and we will help you all the way until you are settled here, including also if you need renovations. We will also find you a network and find you budgets and get you everything sorted.
A lot of headaches relieved on people's behalf there, and with
Yes.
the service you're offering at savvycatrrealty.com. On that note of finding a home and renovating your home and the real estate market, got any crystal ball predictions? What do you think is going to happen with property? There are some signs, aren't there, of some prices dropping, as well as a great sense of investment and development as well. It's quite a mixed picture, isn't it, at the moment?
I would love that prices would drop. I would. I
Yeah,
honestly would. But I do not think that's going to be the case at
you're not
all.
feeling.
I think in Lisbon, things are a bit more stable, mostly for the fact that the market is already on the high and has been for a while. So there
Yeah.
is not a big room for growth. Like in the city center, the prices have been kept stable for the past 2 years or so. Like there's sometimes they may go up and down a bit, but not a lot. While in other locations that are still getting the trend now, like developing more and so on, they may go up. But I do honestly, it's not a lot of places will be going down in price at all. And that all comes down, to supply and demand and interest. And the fact is, interest hasn't really gone down. Things definitely calmed down a bit after they changed the visa rules and the NHR and so on. But even so, like, it's going to be almost 2 years since then. You have not seen a significant drop in the market.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens in this coming year with that. Which, of course, I mean, to me, the sensible thing to do, and you can help people with this, of course, Anna, is to look elsewhere. Often when I look at some of the most sensational reporting about the price of property in Portugal, people are focusing on the usual suspects, aren't they? And there's no question about it. Those have risen in an eye-watering way. But Portugal's a big place, and there are lots of other places where you can still get pretty good value. Are you encouraging people to look elsewhere and go further into the interior? 60% of people live in Lisbon, Porto, the Algarve, and the coast, right? There is a marvelous undiscovered, really, generally speaking, even among Portuguese people themselves, they're not aware, right, of their incredible central and interior region.
I do think that, especially if your goal is long-term return and if you have a smaller budget, there are definitely much better places to invest than Porto, Lisbon, and the Algarve. Porto, Lisbon, and the Algarve can be good because they are still very likely to maintain value, and it's a lot easier to rent and get a higher rental income. But if you have a smaller budget and are looking for long-term growth, a lot of other locations are much, much more likely to have a significant rise in value, as the main cities are already very saturated. And the thing in Portugal is that we are a fairly small country. We have like 11.5 million population now, like what, something like that.
I'll find out for you.
That's like, there's a number of cities in the world with 2 and 3 times the population of Portugal.
Yeah.
And what happens here is that we are very popular international. Portugal is a great place to come if you are looking to come into Europe. We have a great climate. You have affordable prices in comparison. You have beautiful locations, beautiful culture. And it will not stop being popular because of that. And even if we only have like 1% of interest to the world, that's already a lot more than our population, right? And that's why also IMA is so overcrowded. Like we said, that when they were created, they had 500,000 pending processes. That's like,
yeah, it's insane
population, right? So right now I do think
it's incredible. And also, I mean, already the foreign population is around. Sorry, we're talking across each other. I think we've got a little bit of a lag on some of our communication here. But yeah, I was just saying that the 1 in 10 people already here is a foreigner, and with more people interested. And there's the numbers from Worldometer. Gosh, we used to go here every day during the COVID. Look at all those adverts on there. Well, at least, perhaps you're including there the diaspora of Portuguese abroad there. The Portuguese population, including people abroad, may well be more like the number you gave, but currently 10 million.
I think those numbers were basically everyone that's legally a Portuguese resident. So yeah, like the 11 million. Yes. But like I said, I'm not putting my hands down for that. I just saw it somewhere and just speaking out of
fair enough.
memory. But yeah, I do think that in general, we still have less construction than interest. So as long as the demand is higher than the offer, prices are not going to come down.
Yes, very interesting. Time will tell, as Matty says, who seems to be quite argumentative this morning in the chat. Yeah, maybe he hasn't seen a human being for a few days now, and he's just letting off a bit of steam here this morning. Now, on this matter of Portuguese abroad, and I don't suppose you were expecting this question, and it might be interesting from a business point of view, Anna. It's a prediction of mine, and now I wasn't very vocal about this, but I think you'll just have to take my word for it, everybody. I predicted the American refugee idea. I could see there was a growing number of Americans who felt like they were seeking refuge elsewhere. And it wasn't just a matter of like, having, relatively speaking, much more money and being able to choose Portugal as a great place to live. It was leaving as much as it was arriving, putting something behind them and feeling unsafe and so moving to Portugal. And I was talking about the American refugee, and I didn't say it very out loud or not very often anyway, not on air, because I think, no, that can't happen. That can't happen, can it? And it happened for sure. And we've seen, other trends and changes with people moving to Portugal. My next prediction, and I will say this out loud, I think there's going to be the great return of the Portuguese. Do you see any sort of resonance with that? Do you think that might happen? And wouldn't that be amazing for you? The Portuguese, surprise of surprises, if Portuguese people getting in touch with you who are in the United States and have been for a couple of generations, thinking, actually, we're not enjoying this anymore, and that country that we used to visit on holiday that we used to think is so much better in America in so many ways, and we did like going home for our summer holiday, but actually we want to live there all the time now. Is that a thing? Is that a thing among the Portuguese community around the world?
We do get very often, especially Portuguese descendants. It's more rare. Like sometimes we do get people that were born in Portugal and went to the US very early, like in their teens or early 20s, and are now like on their 40s, 50s. But it's not so common to get like a shorter gap, because I think most people that really need my services are people that are not as familiar with the country. So if you are coming here every year and you already have a good base, it's a lot easier to sort things out, and it's not as necessary to have everyone, a team like mine, doing things on your behalf.
Gotcha. Yeah, I understood. But would you agree with the general idea that we're going to see a lot more, because as things are changing in our globalized world, where there were great advantages for Portuguese people moving abroad, those advantages aren't going to be so stark or obvious. And when people are balancing up quality of life with the amount of money they can earn, and it becomes unbearable in some places, or uncertain, or a feeling of a lack of safety, where else would you go but back home to your spiritual home and familial home of Portugal?
I think personally, I don't think most of Portuguese people will want to come back. I think only those that are able to bring their income with them. Because that's kind of the problem here in Portugal. We have a lot of good things, but business and income earning is not particularly attractive if you come here to have a Portuguese salary.
Even if the minimum wage has gone up again?
Yes, it has, and the Prime Minister has been making some very, very interesting promises, and I'm very curious to see how this will go, because they have been raising the minimum wage quite fast. I'm not against it. The thing is, I'm pretty sure they are putting all the burden on the companies, and small businesses don't really have support in Portugal at all. And lots of them are just breaking even. And then when you suddenly have to pay each of your employees like 2,000 euros more per year, it can make things very hard.
It's always very difficult, isn't it? This idea of changing the minimum wage.
So I do think lots of prices will be going up. And I mean, the cost of life already went up very significantly. And I do think that the minimum wage will have, and it has to go up too. But it overall will just make things more expensive, because that's the only way businesses have to deal with it.
Yeah, so there's no net benefit in the end. If all the cost of living has gone up and you've got a paltry rise in the minimum wage, it's not going to look like a rise at all, is it? It's just keeping up with inflation. And
I don't know. To be honest, because I do believe, like, because the thing with the minimum wage is that theoretically, with the minimum wage, you get less taxes, and they did increase the tax brackets too with the
Okay.
minimum wage. So technically, you will be paying a bit less taxes to the state. But I haven't fully done the math yet. I still think a big part of the responsibility is coming down to the businesses themselves. But I do believe that money has to be circulated. And I do
Yeah,
believe
right.
it's an important thing that there's more money in the hands of the people to for it to circulate. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I do think they have been doing it fairly quickly, and it can have a strain on businesses because of that. Because, like, 5 years ago, when I started my business, the minimum wage, I don't even know. I think it was like 680, and we are now at 920.
That's
I
quite
don't.
a
I
rise,
think
isn't it?
it's necessary, but it's hard to for businesses to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm presuming you haven't been able to put up your prices in quite the same way over that same period.
Yes, but for example, when I started, I did raise my prices on the first year, then I didn't on the second year. The third year, I had a very, very small rise, and down on the fourth and fifth, which is now, I do need to rise because it's just unsustainable not to.
Yeah, yeah, amazing. Well, good luck with the year ahead. I still have. I'm not letting go of this idea of Portuguese people returning to Portugal, and maybe what you and I can do is go to the United States and do a little tour of and encourage companies to give Portuguese origin workers the right to return to Portugal whilst keeping their American wages. Can you imagine six-figure wages for second and third generation Portuguese people working online back here in Portugal? That would be a very visionary company that
I
says that.
think that's one of the ways you can get the best quality of life. It's just have
Yeah,
your income secured from somewhere that has a higher income like the US. And
yeah.
then living in a country like Portugal, you kind of get the best of both worlds.
And it's entirely possible, isn't it? It's a cultural,
It is, and I have a lot of people
technological
doing
shift.
it.
Yeah, yeah, I think more and more people. And then another business will come from that as well, which is stopping people burning out in their homes, having moved to Portugal, but actually not seeing any of Portugal because they're still working American hours for that six figures. Six. I've heard of this. I've heard of this. People who live in beautiful places with fantastic views, and that's all they get to see is because they log on at whatever it is, like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They work all night. They sleep until I don't know lunchtime, and they're back on a different kind of hamster wheel, but in a much nicer country, a much nicer backdrop. But maybe we can continue to tinker with that particular formula. And Anna, as we go then and say thank you for the first time of your next gen, often with Ben here in this slot on a first Friday of the month. Thank you for being here. Could you just remind us who is your ideal customer? Who should reach out to you? Somebody watching the Good Morning Portugal show later on today in another part of the world. Who is your ideal customer and client who's going to have a great working relationship with you?
So basically, people that are considering moving to Portugal but still feel a bit lost and kind of want to have more hands down support. I think that's a big part of what we do is exactly kind of walk you through and help you
Mm,
figure out something. And my service can probably be considered to have a high cost for Portugal. But I do believe that in the end, it can save you a lot of time and a lot of money. If you make the wrong choices in this kind of thing, it will cost you a whole lot more than what a service like mine costs. And like I said, it also depends on how much you value your own time. Because
yes,
if you did the research yourself, you probably will take like 5 to 10 times more time that's having someone like my team on your side.
yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and there are people for whom it's not about the money, it's about the service, and you provide a very high level of service helping people move to
Yes.
Portugal.
That was
Savvy.
always my goal. From the
Yep.
start, I always designed my service and created my service with the goal of truly providing a good support to people.
Absolutely. What's your advice to people about learning Portuguese, Anna, before we go? Because I want to shout out our course that we've got at the Portugal Club. What are you telling people on their best way to get to grips with the language?
I would generally just say to try and talk during the day, but we do make it very hard. So it's very good to kind of just be part of either a course, or there's also sometimes in the bigger cities, you have the libraries often have classes that are often free. And it's important to just practice, even if it feels awkward.
Yeah,
Because I think that what we do as Portuguese that can make things hard is that when we realize you are English and it's easier for speak English, we just speak English. So it's not easy to practice sometimes.
yes, there you go. Well, we have a great resource ourselves here at the Portugal Club. The Costas will gladly teach you Portuguese in 30 days, and if you are a Portugal Club member on a support tier, you will get access to that. And it'd be my pleasure to work with you on that. It's always good to refresh on that course as well. So the link for that is on the screen as well. As we say, thank you very much to you, Anna. Buon novo, felice anno novo, and we'll see you next month. Have a great training session. Sorry I've kept you, haven't I? I do beg your pardon. Ciao, ciao, bye for now. See you tomorrow, everybody.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show